Today on Demand to Disrupt, we talk all about the Lion's Eye Foundation new low vision clinic in Louisville, and we talk about basketball. Why? Because it is March in Kentucky.
You're listening to Demand and Disrupt, the podcast for information about accessibility, advocacy, and all things disability.
Welcome to Demand and Disrupt, a disability podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Parsley.
And I'm your co-host, Sam Moore. How's it going, Kimberly?
It is going very well. How are things up there at the North Quail Motel, Sam?
Oh, I'm telling you, we're fully booked. Sorry, folks. You're gonna have to wait at least a few days to get a reservation up here. But it's pretty nice outside, and so we're all sort of getting spring fever around here. I don't think we're out of the woods yet in terms of cold weather.
I'm sure not. I'm sure.
But it makes us think that we're home free, all this 50-degree plus weather.
It does. It does. And people may hear it here at Demand and Disrupt Studios. People may hear wind chimes.
Yeah, oh, yes, because those have been quite loud all day with good reason, because it's breezy there.
It is. It is. And so,
but I wouldn't frown. I don't hear them yet, but I would not frown on hearing some wind chime music. That would be like the perfect touch to the perfect podcast, don't you think?
I do love some wind chimes. I really do.
Yeah, they're comforting. They soothe the soul. Only bad thing is they might put me to sleep, and if you put me to wake me up.
If you're blind, they're also informative, right? So you can tell how windy it is.
Exactly. Yeah. If they're blowing, if the wind's blowing and they're loud, then you know that it's a windy day and there's wind advisory potential.
Yeah, I took them down because they're calling for like ice and stuff, those little strings that hold wind chimes together will freeze and they'll break. And so I take them down, but I thought it was safe. I had Michael put them back up not a couple days ago. So
I think if with any luck, we're safe in the ice department at this point. But yeah, you want to preserve those precious chimes, for spring. You don't want to take a chance at damaging strings in inclement winter weather.
Nope, you don't. I do love them. Well, Sam, you did our interview today. So tell me who we're talking to.
We, madam, are talking with the one and only Jennifer Hunt Spurling. And as I told you, she is actually from your neck of the woods, good old Morgantown, Kentucky.
Oh, yes. The birthplace of Kimberly Shane Parsley.
Yes, the birthplace of Kimberly Parsley. She is the whole reason that Morgantown and Butler County is on the map. But
they would be surprised to hear that, I'm sure.
But anyway, I told you the name Jennifer Hunt Spurling, and at first it didn't ring a bell with you, did it?
Not at first, but then again, I'm getting old, so.
No, nobody said that. But anyhow, she moved to Louisville for a while. She's back in Morgantown now, but she still works with the Kentucky Lion's Eye Foundation. She is the communications coordinator up there. And so she filled us in on, the commendable services they provide and the rich history of the organization. They just opened up, and we'll talk about this too, a brand spanking new low vision clinic inside the Charles McDowell Center in Louisville. Did you ever go to the McDowell Center, Kimberly?
I did. I have been a couple of times. I went back, I think last summer, where they had done, post-COVID, they had done some remodeling and had an open house, and it's really, really nice.
So you went to the open house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this low vision clinic is in the McDowell Center, and it runs twice a month typically, and they'll fill us in. But if you, if you have a certain amount of vision still left to work with, and you're trying to figure out how to preserve it, maybe, maximize its effectiveness, you definitely want to hit it up and talk with the doctor and, get her opinion. She is very good at what she does, very professional. She actually, her main gig is up in Maryland, but she swings down to Louisville twice a month to help with this low vision clinic. She actually used to live in Louisville, so that's, I guess, how she got connected with this opportunity. But yeah, for any of our low vision, large print listeners, shall we say, this could be right up your alley.
Yeah, yeah. And if any of our listeners know someone who fits that description, please pass this along to them, because I know lots of people who are excited about it, very excited about getting their appointment at the low vision clinic. It's kind of a big deal. So.
It is a big deal, and they are very excited about it. Jennifer and her crew, and with good reason. In fact, something else the Kentucky Lions Eye Foundation has got going on. They are proudly affiliated with the Mr. and Miss Kentucky basketball event, which is coming up on Sunday, March the 16th. So that is, gosh, after a week from the Sunday after this podcast comes out, you can make your arrangements to go to Lexington and, attend this event. Kimberly, this honors the top-rated high school male and female basketball players in the state of Kentucky.
Top rated. Now, how do they determine that? Do you know? Is it like a voting, or is it like a point scored?
There's a committee, I believe. I'm not exactly sure how it's determined, but I'm pretty positive there's a committee, and they get together and review nominations and that sort of thing.
Of course, with the Mr. and Miss Kentucky basketball, I think what you're talking about is you're looking at your future Wildcats and Lady Wildcats, probably, right?
Yeah, and hopefully a few Hilltoppers and Lady Toppers
right,
in
there you
well.
go.
We wouldn't mind that either. But
we will just leave out the Cardinals, right? Is that what we
I
do?
guess so. Yeah, no offense to our Big Red fans. The other Big Red, if it's
the other Big Red, right? The other Big Reds.
Yeah, the other Big Red. We still love you, but we gotta give first priority to the cats and lady cats, tops and lady tops. But
there you go.
Anyway, March 16th is the big day for this event, and March 14th, the Friday before, that is the deadline for purchasing your online tickets. So we will include here in the show notes a link to purchase tickets, and also something you might be interested in, Kimberly. They're also going to have an online auction the week leading up to the banquet for Mr. and Miss Kentucky. So
really,
you can go, and gosh, they're going to have all sorts of different things.
And the proceeds go to the
Lions Eye Foundation. Yep, and there's a link to partake in that auction as well. It opens Monday the 10th at 7 a.m. Eastern, and it closes Sunday evening the 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern. So you've got plenty of time to investigate, scope out what's available, and I might have been wishful thinking on the Braille book slightly, but you never know, Kimberly.
you never did. They may have got some donations of those from National Braille Press or APH or something.
And I know you're trying to sort of brush up your Braille skills with the fingers that are still of service to you.
I am, and it's getting better every day, little by little.
See, that's what it's
tiny
all about.
Baby steps. Yeah, tiny baby steps, but
gradual strides. But
exactly,
yes, we will include in the show notes, a link to purchase tickets for the Mr. and Miss Kentucky basketball, and a link to partake in the online auction, so that you can have at it. Enjoy a little shopping spree from the comfort of your home, which we're all sort of accustomed to these days.
Yeah. And I mean, Lions Eye Foundation, they do such great work, don't they?
They do. They are, and of course, they're affiliated with the Lions Club, and the Louisville Lions Club was very instrumental in getting that organization up and running many, many moons ago. And they have traveling groups that travel across the state and offer services like vision screenings and things like that to people who are eligible. And gosh, the list just goes on and on. So you will find Jennifer Hunt Spurling to be a wealth of information, to say the least.
Well, wonderful. I can't wait. So we are about to hear Sam's interview with Jennifer Hunt Spurling.
Enjoy, peeps. Well, if you or somebody you know has low vision or no vision, then chances are you or that special someone in your life will probably, if not certainly possibly, reap the benefits of services and programs offered through the Kentucky Lions Eye Foundation. They have a rich history that dates back a lot farther than you might think, and a number of commendable programs and services that they have proudly offered for a number of years and continue to offer. Other new offerings, such as a low vision clinic that just opened its doors in Louisville within the past few weeks or so. The official ribbon cutting is still yet to come, but they are opened and ready to serve at this point. So here to talk about that, as well as other info concerning the history and the mission of the Kentucky Lions Eye Foundation programs and some other resources that perhaps we can benefit from, is the communications coordinator of the Kentucky Lions Eye Foundation, coming to us direct via Zoom from Butler County, Kentucky. It's Miss Jennifer Hunt Spurling.
Thank you for having me.
Jennifer, it is great to have you with us. Quite a pleasure indeed. Now, we should point out that, of course, the new low vision clinic is opening, actually has just opened in Louisville, and the Kentucky Lions Eye Foundation is also based in Louisville. You were yourself there for a while, but you recently moved back home to Morgantown, there where you are originally from. How long have you been back home, Jennifer?
Yeah, so it's been right at 2 years. I
2
moved
years.
Back. Yeah, so I was in Louisville for 10 or 11 years. I'm losing track of time here, but worked there. And then after, COVID, everything went remote, and was able to move whenever my husband got a position down closer to home, and live within, I'd say, 3 miles of 90% of my family. So
how about that? That's it's great to be in close proximity to so many folks that you know and love and grew up with in many cases. In fact, I think I read you're on the family farm, right?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, the same farm that that you grew up on. What types of animals do you have there on the farm, Jennifer?
Yeah, so my dad and brother have a dairy farm, so we have lots of dairy cows. They also have some beef operations, so some beef cattle, chickens through Purdue, and then my sister and I have a small flower farm on the side as well. So we have all kinds of things going on.
Quite the well-rounded family. And of course, Purdue Farms is just up the road from you there in Ohio County, Cromwell, to be exact. So I'm quite familiar with that too. Well, Jennifer, we have a lot of info for the valued patrons out there that I know they'll find quite interesting. Of course, you graduated from Butler County High School. Now, being a Western alumnus, I should know what Butler County is, but I'm a little fuzzy. Is it the Cougars?
We're the Bears.
The Bears. Okay. Yep. Butler County Bears. Yep. You didn't play any sports in high school, did you?
Oh, not well. I played volleyball for a brief period, but not well.
Oh, well, you played and it kept you moving anyway. So gave your feet something to do. That's never a bad thing. But anyhow, you graduated from there, made your way to Lexington. You became a Wildcat, studied at the University of Kentucky. So why don't you first talk about the knowledge and experience you gained as a student at UK and the means by which that equipped you to excel in your current capacity?
Yeah. Well, I knew from a young kid that UK was going to be the plan for me. I was a third generation UK graduate. My grandfather was there in the 50s, and my dad was there in the 70s and early 80s.
So it runs in the family.
So it runs in the family. So I was excited to go to UK, studied communications and marketing, and just kind of landed in this role and kind of grew the role that I have now because of the experience and knowledge that I gained at
Yeah.
UK.
Absolutely. Both my parents went to UK, so I was sort of the rebel going to
Yeah.
Western, but at least I stayed in state.
Yeah.
And I'm still a Wildcat fan, so there's definitely a special spot in my heart for the Big Blue. Now, while you were studying communications and marketing at Kentucky, did you do any internships or side work like that, maybe in the form of employment or maybe not exactly paid, that transitioned into your ultimate career path?
Sure. I had a couple of internships, but before that, I worked 4 years at the Singletary Center for the Arts as an event manager there,
Okay.
and kind of stayed on even a little bit after graduation. And that's where I really fell in love with event management. And a portion of my job now is event management. So that kind of led me into realizing that I liked that.
When you were working for the Singletary Center, you probably didn't realize that experience would serve you so well for so long, did you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Had an internship with the United Way of the Bluegrass, and that kind of introduced me into the nonprofit world and kind of opened my eyes to all of the possibilities there as well. So that also helped push me in this direction.
I see. So your internship with United Way was sort of your first exposure to the nonprofit sector, shall we say. Now, Jennifer, you've been a proud member of the Kentucky Lions Eye Foundation staff since 2011, but let's back up a bit. Prior to that and after your UK student days were over, and why don't you give us a snapshot of your previous job titles that you held prior to the Eye Foundation?
Okay. So just right out of UK, I got a job at Central Bank and worked there as a teller for a little over a year. Got a promotion shortly before I left there to come to KLEF. But started at KLEF just simply as administrative assistant. Had a friend who worked in the office at the time and got a really good recommendation from him and came in just not knowing a lot about it, but fell in love with the people. All of the Lions Club members embraced me. We had a great board. We're a very small staff. We had a staff of just 3. So I came in as the newbie and kind of learned the ropes for a couple of years. We were later able to hire on a 4th staff member who kind of took over my role as administrative assistant, and I moved more into the communications coordinator role.
I see. Right along with what you studied in college. So you had a connection in the office. That's how you were first sort of drawn to it and became familiar with it. And so you came to Louisville from Lexington, and a few years later became communications coordinator. So you've held that particular title, I guess, for a little over a decade now.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
And as your role has evolved, you've been able to do more and more of it remotely, which of course gave you the freedom there to go back to Morgantown, where you're from, and handle your duties there. Although you do a fair amount of travel in your job, don't you?
That's right. Yes. I am in Louisville fairly often to go back for certain events and things that are going on, but also just out and about in the state, visiting Lions clubs and different groups to talk about KLEF and what we do, and to kind of help promote our events and just upcoming program needs.
Cool stuff. And it's worth mentioning. I'm sure most people have probably figured this out already, but yes, the Kentucky Lions Eye Foundation is indeed closely affiliated with the Lions Club. Now, how long have you been a Lion, Jennifer?
Oh,
it's probably all a blur now, but
it is. I probably joined in 2012 or 13, so it's been a decade or so of that as well.
So shortly after you became part of the Eye Foundation staff,
yes,
you became active in the Lions Club, and they've got a great chapter there in the Louisville area. I guess now that you're in Morgantown, have you transferred to the Butler County chapter?
There's not currently a Butler County chapter.
Oh, there's not. Okay.
Yeah, I'm still technically a member of the club I was in Louisville. I'm holding on to that until I get around to see the local clubs.
That's cool stuff. So just because you're slightly displaced doesn't mean that you've lost your spot,
right?
in the Louisville Lions Club, indeed. So we mentioned your travel. You cover a pretty fair territory. In fact, what exactly does your territory encompass besides Louisville? I know you came to Owensboro to talk to the Support Alliance for the Visually Impaired group, which I personally am affiliated with. Do you do much travel in Central and Eastern Kentucky?
We go to Lexington some, and then we will go to Eastern Kentucky. We'll really go anywhere in Kentucky that wants to hear from us. We have a really good group of trustees. We have over 30 board members who kind of represent all regions of Kentucky. So we're lucky that we have people kind of boots on the ground all throughout the state. And so a lot of our trustees will go out and visit clubs on behalf of KLEF. So they do a lot of work for us.
Bottom line, you and your peeps will go wherever it is that you're summoned.
That's true. Yeah.
For sure, which is certainly to be commended. So before it's all said and done, Jennifer, I have faith that you'll set foot in all 120 counties. So I think it's just a matter of time. So in addition to your travel and your speaking engagements and things like that, what other duties does your role encompass as communications coordinator there?
Sure. We have a monthly newsletter that I send out that kind of does a recap of each month of our program numbers, people that we've served that month, as well as events that we've hosted, events that are coming up. Obviously our low vision clinic opening, that's been a big highlight in recent newsletters. We had a golf scramble back in October, so that's something that we highlight. In addition to the newsletters, it's social media, any kind of advertising for events or programs that we do.
Website management and that sort of thing. Yeah. So between all that, it keeps you beyond busy enough. But it's nice to know that when travel is not warranted, you can do that stuff from the comfort of your own home, which definitely has its perks. Now, switching gears from you to the organization with whom you've been affiliated now for 13 years, the Eye Foundation, like we said, its history dates back a lot farther than I'm sure a number of our listeners realize. So how about a general outline, Jennifer, of the Eye Foundation's commendable history with maybe a few noteworthy examples of its growth and evolution over the years?
Sure. So the Eye Foundation was started in 1954. The Louisville Downtown Lions Club started the foundation. And then in 1958, it became a statewide project of the Lions Clubs of Kentucky. So then we were getting Lions from all over involved. I will kind of flash forward to several years later, but in the early 2000s and more recent time, we started our Vision Van program in 2002. So we purchased a Ford Econoline van. We have it housed with vision screening equipment, and that van was taken around to different health fairs and events throughout the state. It has provided a little over 230,000 free vision screenings to Kentuckians since it started in 2002.
That's awesome.
And a few years later, 2004, we started our KidSight program. Through that program, it's a free vision screening program for children ages 6 and under to try to detect problems early so that they can be treated if at all possible.
Sure.
A little over 250,000 Kentucky kids have been screened through that program since it started.
Yeah, another impressive number. Indeed, we'll talk more about the KidSight program here in just a few minutes, but that the Vision Van program is something to get excited about for sure as well, because not only has it made its way to a number of health fairs and things like that, it has also appeared at the state fair, hadn't it?
Yes. I'm not really sure when they started doing the state fair, but all of the 13 years that I've been there, except for the years that they didn't have a fair due to COVID, we have been there at the Kentucky State Fair, provided usually the last couple of years, it's been close to between 2,000 and 2,500 people that will come through the booth at the fair.
Yeah, that's a great outlet to be of service to a number of individuals from a number of different counties. But I'm sure the Vision Van has also made its way to a handful of county fairs across the Commonwealth as well. So if you've not seen it, folks, bottom line, keep your eye open. You never know how close you're going to be to an accessible screening via the Vision Van. So anyhow, that gives us a glance at sort of the history of the Eye Foundation. Why don't you now tell us, Jennifer, about the long-standing mission that the foundation seeks to promote and fulfill on a daily basis?
Sure. Our mission is kind of wordy, but I'll read it off here. So our mission is to provide vision services through education, detection, prevention, treatment, and empowerment.
It's wordy but inclusive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So through education, I'll kind of touch on all those points. We, doing things like this, we're educating people about what we do. We have an Ask the Expert interview series that we do monthly that we post on YouTube where I interview various experts on different topics. Last month, I talked with someone about diabetes because it was Diabetes Awareness Month. So we
so it's about a once a month type of thing.
Yeah, we try to provide some education through that. And then detection, obviously, with our vision screening programs, that's our primary goal, is to find problems. Prevention, again, that's another thing with our screening programs. We're wanting to always educate people on how to prevent eye problems, eye injuries, eye diseases. Treatment through our patron program, we help with various surgeries and different types of treatment. And then empowerment, that's a big one that our low vision clinic is helping with, because we feel that clinic is serving people who, with the services that the low vision clinic offers, can really empower them to live a more independent life.
Yeah, and sort of take charge of their future. And then we'll talk more about that here in a bit. But if they can't help you, chances are they can refer you to other people and resources who can. So that's a big part of empowerment as well. So great work that you and your small but mighty cohorts, a small but mighty bunch, are performing there at the Eye Foundation. I'm guessing everybody's based in Louisville except yourself at this point.
They are, yes. So we are still we're back down to a staff of 3 currently. other than we have the two professionals who are helping on our low vision clinic team. They are new, but they're not full-time KLAF staff members. So our full-time folks are, we have one in Louisville and then one in Southern Indiana, but just right across the bridge. So.
Okay, right across the border there. Yeah,
Yep.
I think we can we can lump that into Louisville for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, and you're not that far off yourself, about 100 miles or so. So definitely easy for you to get to the office whenever you need to. Now, before we speak of the Eye Foundation's all new low vision clinic in Louisville, I'd like for us to discuss further a few other invaluable programs under the umbrella of the organization. The first of which you briefly touched on a second ago, and that is the Kentucky KidSight program. But why don't let's expand a little more? You did say that it's designed to assist in providing screenings for those 6 and under, but talk a little bit more about maybe how that first came to be, as well as the personnel across the Commonwealth who helped to make that a reality.
Sure. So KidSight started in early 2000s. There was a vision screening device that was very similar to a Polaroid camera. Lions clubs kind of across the United States got involved with this. And fortunately, technology has just gotten better and better. We're now using a digital camera, which is kind of a point and shoot. You can hold the camera about 3 feet from a child's face. They just look at the little lights that are in the camera.
Sort of describe what they're seeing.
And well, they don't have to describe anything. They just look at the lights, and the camera kind of captures an image, and then it sends us a printout that can tell us if they are nearsighted or farsighted, if they have astigmatism, if they have amblyopia, and a couple of other factors that could lead us to think that they need to see an eye doctor.
Okay, so these brilliant machines can sort of get a feel for how well kiddos are or are not seeing the lights and things that are presented to them. And these are conducted by personnel in many counties all across the state, right?
That's right. We have KidSight teams, mostly either Lions Club volunteers, or we've partnered with the Kentucky Head Start Association. We have some Head Starts that have some of our cameras that they provide the screenings to their children. So it's you don't need any medical history to use this device. We train you on it. It's very easy. And then from there, we give the results to the daycare, preschool, places like that, and then they pass it on to the parents. If a child is referred, we ask that the parents take them to an eye doctor for a complete exam.
Right.
As ours is just a screening.
Right, just depending on what comes out. But it's great that anybody and everybody who's interested can become trained to perform these exams, and they are free to the recipients of their parents, aren't they?
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
They're just free screenings. A lot of the Lions clubs will connect with different daycares and organizations in their communities, and it's just kind of a free service that they provide and a good way to connect with people in their communities.
So probably not in all 120 counties, but if you don't live in a county where those children's low vision screenings are offered, chances are you're not far from one. And that information can be readily available to you through Jennifer. We'll let you know how you can email her with any questions you may have based on what we're talking about here before we wrap this thing up. Now, the lives of countless Kentuckians have undoubtedly been enhanced thanks to the Eye Foundation's Patron Fund program. You talked for a second or two about that a bit ago as well, but talk, if you would, more about its main objective, along with the collaborative efforts that make it possible, Jennifer?
And so our patron program is one of the programs that I work on personally. So on top of communications and event planning, I have two programs that I manage, patron program being one of them. So we have a committee of from our board that helps to review the applications that come in. So anyone who is not insured or what we call underinsured, they need help paying for any type of eye surgery. We help a lot with cataract surgeries. We've helped with cornea transplants, all the way up to kind of significant surgeries that are uncommon, like iris transplants. So we've helped with a lot of different things, but there is an application process. Applicants will submit their application as well as their financial information to KLEF. I, along with the committee, will review that. And then we have some really good surgery partners throughout the state. We work with the University of Louisville, Department of Ophthalmology. Their doctors and the surgery center that we work with provide significant discounts to help us to be able to pay for these surgeries, and kind of spread the money to as many people as we can.
Okay. So if you're approved for these services, exams, what have you, then you will be referred to one of the partnering organizations.
Correct.
Right, to where they can receive these such services and benefit after they've been approved. But as far as the application process, that's online via the CLEF website, correct?
Yes, there's a patron program page, and that application can be downloaded from the website.
Okay, from the patron page. Well, that's easy enough. By the way, folks, when we say CLEF, that's to abbreviate Kentucky Lions Eye Foundation. It's sort of like an acronym there that I find myself using, and I'm sure a number of other folks do, especially those closely linked to the organization. Now, the next one I want to touch on here, Jennifer, is the Hollerin Trust Fund. It has been a godsend to many residents in Louisville and surrounding communities. So for those in our audience that happen to live in that neck of the woods, how about shedding light on the most common beneficiaries of the Hollerin Fund, along with the forms of assistance available to these folks?
Yeah. So our Hollerin program is a unique program. It is the only program that we have that is geographically restricted. And that was because John Hollerin, when he donated the funds to start this program, that was a part of his kind of what he wanted. Yeah. So it's Jefferson County residents, and then any county that touches Jefferson, including 3 counties in southern Indiana.
Okay, so yeah, he wanted locals to benefit.
Yeah.
And
it's for people who are considered legally blind. So they do have to send us a letter from their doctor with their vision and stating that they are legally blind.
Yeah, sort of proof of their condition.
And the assistance really ranges and depends on what that particular person needs. We've had some people apply for assistance with like bus passes and help getting transportation to classes or school. We've had some that need help with assistive devices like talking microwaves, talking clocks, things that just help them in their everyday life. We've also had some that have needed help with rent on occasion. Just we're all humans. We all get behind on things sometimes, and the Hollerin program is there to help if they can.
And I think I read even some people have used the Hollerin program to assist them in covering the cost of like household appliances too, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
you know, stuff that they
Yep.
may use that aren't necessarily fancy or assistive per se, but
Right.
they're essentials and they're necessary for
Right.
independent living in their home. So it's pretty flexible, but you do have to, you know, send proof of your vision loss and
Mhm.
complete an application. But there's no certain age range, you know, in order to qualify for these services that people have to fall within. Correct?
Not for the holler-in, nope.
Not for the hollering, no.
Any
Okay.
age, we do ask for financial information, so a lot of it is based on financial need. So we're, obviously not giving out brand new cars or,
Yeah, because
things that
that's not exactly urgent
yeah,
or
yeah,
totally a necessity. So
yeah,
you know they got to draw the line somewhere.
yeah.
But you can. I do believe there is. I noticed the hollering fund link on the website, so I'm guessing the application and all the other info that we need is available right there.
Yes, yep, you can
So
download that application on the website on the holler-in page.
easy enough. And if you have any questions, you can definitely contact Jennifer or one of her coworkers, and they'll be glad to assist in any way possible. Now, we can't let this insightful conversation end without highlighting the Eye Foundations, and we sort of have already, but the brand new Low Vision Clinic, which just opened its doors inside the Charles McDowell Center for Independent Living in Louisville just a few weeks back. I believe it was it the second week of November, Jennifer?
It
I think it
was,
was.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. I know it kind of runs together, but it's going strong now. I guess we're about 4 weeks in. The official ribbon cutting is in January, but before we get into specifics in terms of services offered by the Low Vision Clinic, how about a rundown of the team members on hand to serve the clinic's valued clientele, Jennifer?
Sure. Yeah, this is something we're really excited about. The Low Vision Clinic has really been in the back of our staff's mind since 2019. So it's been about 5 years of thinking about it, trying to figure out how to make it happen.
The
And without
culmination of a
these,
lot of planning.
yeah, and without these two ladies who joined our Low Vision Clinic team, I don't think it would be possible. But our low vision doctor is Dr. Andrea Smith Gray, and we have a low vision occupational therapist, Jennifer Gindeman, both of whom previously worked at the Low Vision Clinic, which was operated by the University of Louisville before it closed in 2019.
Okay, so they
So,
both worked with the U of L Low
mhm.
Vision Clinic before that closed. Although they have both since relocated, haven't they? Neither one of them are right there in Louisville, right?
Correct. Yes. Dr. Smith Gray is in Maryland, and Jennifer Gindeman is in Chicago at this time. But
Okay. All
they
right,
are.
but you can still meet with these people in
Mhm.
Louisville, at least Andrea, because Andrea comes to Louisville to see patrons at the clinic, what, about once or
Mhm.
twice a month? Is that how that rolls?
Yep, she's there. We're going to have clinics 2 days a month, and so back to back days. So our first days were November 14th and 15th, and then our December days are December, um, oh, what
The
is this?
next, let's
The,
see,
the
following.
12th and 13th.
Okay, so that'll be here shortly after this happy little podcast comes
Mhm.
out.
Yeah. So
Okay, so
she'll be there visiting with the patients. Currently, Jennifer Gindeman is mostly remote work, and she handles a lot of the scheduling and just helping patients over the phone and through email. So but she has put in a lot of work over this planning process to kind of build out the business plan and provide details that our team uh, weren't aware of,
yeah,
because of her experience, and she's been a tremendous help.
for sure. And she's good at assisting people electronically or on the phone, even via Zoom if it were needed. I'm sure that if she
Yeah.
hasn't done that a lot yet, she no doubt will be a fair amount as we go along. Now, Jennifer, if a low vision eye exam is deemed appropriate, there is absolutely no better source than this all new clinic. So, first off, what qualifications must be met in order to receive this eye exam?
Okay. So we are pretty open. Anyone in Kentucky and then surrounding areas, Indiana, Ohio. I know there are not a lot of low vision doctors in our region, so we realize that people from surrounding states may come in as well to seek assistance, as we might be the closest.
Sure.
But the main thing is we do have to receive an eye exam or a report from their doctor that they have been to the doctor within the last 3 years.
Okay. So that's the bottom line. They have to have a referral of some sort.
They do, yes. So the
Okay.
referral form is on our website. There's one that can be downloaded, or there's one that you can just type directly into and hit submit, and it sends it to us. But we do, a patient can refer themselves and attach doctor's notes if they get the notes from their doctor. But we do need that report from the doctor where they've been there, within the last 3 years.
Right. So the doctors do have to an extent at least, be involved with the referral process.
Yeah.
For sure, in order to receive those services and exams from the low vision clinic. Now, what exactly, for those that don't know, does an eye exam of this nature entail, Jennifer?
So it's a little more detailed than just a regular eye exam. Dr. Smith Gray will kind of get a lot of information from you before the exam and then talk to you during the exam just about your goals and what you're wanting to be able to do. And then she will assess kind of how we can maximize the individual's remaining vision and improve the quality of life. So a lot of times she will talk to you about your history, about visual acuity, your visual fields, contrast sensitivity, different optical devices that might be available, visual aids. Lighting is a big thing. So just how to provide the best lighting to get your vision to be the best that it can be. And then functional vision as well, and kind of assess all of your goals, what you're wanting to try to be able to do, and then recommend different devices or training or any other resources that might help with that.
Okay, so a lot of ground is covered, obviously, during this exam. It's very thorough. About how long does it normally take?
We say it can take up to 2 hours.
Okay, so allow up to 2 hours always.
Yeah.
Just to be on the safe side, because certain questions may lead to other questions once they're answered, and other referral possibilities. So don't be in a hurry when you go in there, and make sure you keep an open mind and open ears to all the information that Andrea Smith Gray has to offer. Indeed, it's very useful, and it can definitely educate you a lot on what you may need and what's out there. And we can't neglect to mention that the clinic offers other additional services to supplement the eye exams. Of course, you mentioned the therapist, so some of these are going to be in her ballpark, no doubt. But in conclusion, why don't you give us a brief overview of the other resources and benefits accessible to patrons visiting the clinic?
Sure. So as I mentioned, everyone that comes through the clinic's doors is going to have different goals, from whether they're wanting to be able to continue to sew or to read or to write or, just to watch TV. Some may even be in the position to, want to continue to drive. So all of these goals will be discussed. And then from there, there could be technology that's recommended, assistive or adaptive devices. During our holler and talk, which I mentioned, like talking microwaves, talking clocks, things that are just helpful for people who are experiencing low vision that might just make certain tasks a lot easier.
Right.
So specialized glasses, talking devices, and then there's also independent living skills training that can be recommended, orientation and mobility through the Department and Office of the Blind. Those are things that might get recommended.
Yeah.
And then just other community resources that the patient might not be aware of if they're new to the low vision community.
And the important thing to remember is, the clinic itself may be able to provide some of these. And if not, they can refer you to other resources and individuals who can, which is great, especially that therapist, if that's deemed necessary or, recommended for you to work with her, I'm sure that she'd be glad to do so with you via Zoom, short term or long term, perhaps. So, so there's definitely a lot you can learn and potentially benefit from based on what you learned during your vision exam. And again, that is located inside the Charles W. McDowell Center for Independent Living in Louisville. For those who don't know, why don't you tell them where the McDowell Center is located there in Louisville?
Yeah, so it is easy to get to off of the Watterson. It's on Westport Road, near the intersection of Westport and the Watterson. So the address is 8412 Westport Road, in Louisville, Kentucky. 40242 is there.
So you can plug that into your GPS and it gets you right to it. She even gave us the zip code there. And like I said, 2 days a month, they will have clinic days scheduled. And I'm guessing those, access to that schedule is available through the CLEF website too, right?
It will be.
It will be once more of a schedule is established.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know when it's going to be, obviously, this month here in December. And I think next month, one of the people in my group from the Support Alliance for the Visually Impaired said she was going to go up there next month. So I guess January's dates are ironed out as well. But as more dates are ironed out, you can check the website, gain access to that schedule, and plan your trips and appointments accordingly. So like I said, check out their website. It's kylions.org, all one word, lowercase, all that fun stuff. And from the website, you can gain access to CLEF's social media outlets. There are links for those right there on the web page. You can email Jennifer at it's Jennifer.Hunt, right?
No dot. It's
no dot.
Jennifer.
Okay. I couldn't remember if there's a dot there or not, but just Jennifer Hunt, all one word, no caps, at kylions.org. And so you can email her that way with any questions you may have about what we discussed today regarding the Eye Foundation, the Low Vision Clinic. Also via the website, you can find out more about how you can support the organization and contribute to its very worthy cause as well. I know this has been very educational for us, Jennifer. We've learned a great deal and I had a bunch of fun doing it. I hope you've enjoyed yourself here today.
Yes, it's been great. I do have one additional plug that I want to throw out here at the end.
Oh, sure.
Okay, I didn't run this by you before, but we have a large event coming up in March. I failed to mention earlier that we host the Mr. and Miss Kentucky Basketball Award Ceremony each year.
Oh, okay.
And so that is coming up March 16th. So if we have any high school basketball fans listening, you can see some of the best talent in the state there at that event. And that's something that we raise funds to help support our mission during that event. So just wanted to throw that out and invite anyone to look into that to learn more about Mr. and Miss Kentucky basketball and how it supports the I Foundation.
Yeah, and I know there are plenty of high school basketball fans, given that we're in such a big basketball state. So make your plans to attend. I've not attended it yet personally, but I know I would enjoy it and really get a kick out of it. So, make plans, keep your eyes open, ears peeled for additional details about the Mr. and Miss Kentucky basketball event coming up in March. And where is that event held, Jennifer, did you say?
It's in Lexington at the Griffin Gate Marriott Resort, and it's March 16th. It's a Sunday evening. It's usually held in conjunction with the KHSAA state tournaments. So this year, believe we're around the girls' state tournament, where the Sunday after.
Yeah, because the girls usually ladies first is how it generally works, and then the boys' tournament is usually the week later. You gonna be MC in that event, Jennifer?
So we have a much better MC than me. We have Christy Thomas from the UK network. She
also from WKYT, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so yeah. She's our MC the last couple of years and does a great job. Keeps us on track and really does a wonderful job recognizing all of the student athletes that we have from across the state. We have a little over 50 student athletes from all regions in Kentucky represented during the event. So it's a really fun time.
And many of you have no doubt, like Jennifer said, heard Christy during UK pregame. That's in football season. Mm-hmm. She handles those duties and does a great job along with her cohorts as well. So we look forward to that in March. And we also look forward to a number of you folks getting involved and becoming even more acquainted with and acclimated to the Kentucky Lions I Foundation. Jennifer, thanks so much. You rock.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Demand and Disrupt is a production of the Advocado Press with generous support from the Center for Accessible Living based in Louisville, Kentucky. Our executive producers are me, Kimberly Parsley, and Dave Mathis. Our sound engineer is Michael Parsley. Thanks to Chris Ankin for the use of his song, Change. Don't forget to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. And please consider leaving a review. You can find links to our email and social media in the show notes. Please reach out and let's keep the conversation going. Thanks, everyone.